Hi there. So this is the visual station, the visual learning station. And what we're going to do here is we are going to go through all of the steps of putting the picture frame together. But this time you get to watch me do it rather than just hearing the steps of how to do it. And you can watch the entire video through once and then rewind the video clip and watch it again and pause it as often as you want so that you can do the steps along with me. So before we begin, I think it's important to start with making sure that you have all of the right pieces. So you need to start with 4 edges of the frame. You should have 8 metal brackets. I don't really know the technical terms for any of these pieces, so I'm just going to make it up and you're going to pretend like I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so and with these 8 brackets, you should have 4 pieces with 1 hole and 4 pieces with 2 holes. That's an important distinction to make. Apart from those, you should have 8 small screws, 2 spring-form braces, a plate of glass, a piece of cardboard backing, and a piece of original art. And this is an original Mrs. Lee. Monet. Look out. Okay, and you also need a screwdriver. So let's begin with our first step. Our first step is to take 2 edges of the picture frame and 2 metal brackets, one with 1 hole, one with 2 holes. Put the metal bracket with the 1 hole on the palm of your hand and lay the piece with the 2 holes on top so that they look like this. And then take one of your picture frame edges and slide this bracket into one of the gaps. And then take your other piece of picture frame and slide that piece in, forming a right angle. And then what you want to do is you want to secure those 2 the 2 pieces together by inserting 2 of the screws. And you want to tighten them, but not too tight. You want a little bit of wiggle room. And then tightening all the screws will be the last step that we do. So just to hold it into place so these pieces don't slide around too much. Okay. Now next, we want to take 2 more of our bracket pieces, and I've cheated a little bit and put some of the screws in already for the purposes of time. I think I did that a little tight. So again, bracket with the 1 hole, palm of your hand, 2 holes on top, and slide that piece in. And then take your 3rd edge of your picture frame and slide that into place. So what you have is 3 edges of your picture frame, both forming right angles at the top. And again, you need to screw them into place, but not too tightly. Okay, so once we're at that stage, you want to assemble your magnificent piece of art by taking your plate of glass and laying your piece of art on top. It doesn't matter right side up, upside down. The frames are square, so there's no top or bottom. And lay your piece of cardboard on the back, and then slide your piece of art into the middle slot of the picture frame. So it looks like so. Okay, next step is to take your remaining brackets. You should have 4 left and 4 screws. And again, making sure that the bracket with the large hole is on the bottom, 2 holes is on the top. Slide that into place. But you want to keep this loose because we have to fit on this 4th piece of frame. And so we need a lot of wiggle room. If you screwed in all of your screws, it's going to be too tight and you won't be able to fit this last piece in. And repeat with your last 2 pieces of bracket. Slide those into place. And then it gets a little bit tricky, and It can be a little bit fussy. But what you need to do now is you need to spread these two outside arms out a bit.
Teachers, please excuse this interruption of very sorry volume. Alex Lucan, if you're at the building, will you come to the office, please? Thank you.
And anyways, okay, so we've spread the arms slightly apart. And then I'm going to slide this last piece of picture frame into place, making sure that the two brackets are sliding into the top half of the frame. And it will make sense as you're going through it. And then you squeeze all four corners together and screw into place. I cheated a little bit and put some of the screws in ahead of time. And you want to make sure that as you're screwing the pieces together that the corners are meeting exactly. Otherwise, when you flip your frame over, if they're not meeting at a nice right angle, you're going to have gaps in the corners. And you can adjust as you go. So you can tighten your screws up, flip it over, have a look, and if it's not quite right, then just unscrew the screws, adjust your corners, and you're good to go. Okay. I am not going to do this perfectly because we don't really need 10 minutes of exclusively putting a picture frame together. Okay, so I'm looking at my frame. Yes, that looks pretty good. All four of my corners meet up nicely. Last step is to hold your art in place. If you don't use these spring braces, then your art wiggles around and can slip out of place. So it's important for you to brace your print with these springy braces by getting it into place, putting it in a corner, and then pressing down the brace and squeezing it right into those corners. Helps if you have it in the right way. Detail. Okay. And again, take your last brace and put your brace in kitty corner to the first one that you placed. The right way out this time. I would edit that out, but I don't know how to edit that out. Okay, so there we go. We have an assembled picture frame. All pieces used, looking good. So let's see if you can repeat the process.